Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1963B, and today's date is September 6, 2019, and the title of the episode is Think Timing, Senate Locked, Supreme Court Locked, and Who is Loaded? Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about protecting yourself with all the common threats nowadays in America, especially with immigrants illegally crossing our southern border and the uncontrollable popular rise of socialism. The future of America and the stability of its power grid are not promised, and either is your safety. One of the best things you can invest in for your home protection is a Patriot Brother flashlight. And why not purchase one of the best flashlights on the market, the Patriot flashlight? The holidays are quickly approaching, and that is why Patriot Flashlight wants to extend a special 15% Patriot discount to all customers throughout the month of September. Patriot Flashlight is the perfect gift for you and your loved ones this holiday season. Never waste money on batteries again. The Patriot Brother X is solar powered, life-saving emergency strobe light. Charge your phone anywhere, anytime with the USB port. Other features include compass, rope, wire cutter, solar powered recharging, high-low beam, LED modes, glass breaking hammer. Users have reported this flashlight to be an all-in-one lifesaver and wouldn't go anywhere without it. Lightweight but very durable, compact but great handling for all emergencies. Patriot Brother X is the perfect gift for you and your loved ones. Limited supplies last, and this is the very last chance to get yours at a discount before they sell out. Take advantage now and give you and your family the gift of night protection. Click the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, the Patriots, they're sitting back, watching the deep state fumble around and try to regain control of the narrative. Each time the deep state tries, it is a big fail. The Patriots are in control. The walls are closing in around them. With the release of the Comey memo, it set everything in motion. Remember when Nadler was pursuing the firing of James Comey as obstruction because there was no reason or evidence to fire James Comey? Well, from the IG report, there was a reason. He violated the FBI policies. The FBI employment agreement states that violating any of the included terms may result in termination, civil liability, revocation of security clearances, or even criminal sanctions. Judicial Watch is pursuing the Hillary Clinton email scandal. In the Jeffrey Epstein case, they are preparing to release more names, and this is just the opening act. This is nothing compared to what's coming. The deep state has been warned. There is no stopping this. Let's talk about what Nadler is doing right now. He is in such a panic that he is grasping at anything to try to remove Trump. But remember, they thought they were going to get this incredible Mueller report which showed Russian collusion obstruction. They didn't get it. They were going to have Mueller testify, and they were going to get something from that. They didn't get it. This is why they started the impeachment process before the Mueller report was even out, because they were getting prepared and ready. The whole thing just fell apart. And now they're left with nothing. What is Nadler doing now? He issued a subpoena to the Department of Homeland Security for documents over a joke Trump made about pardoning DHS officials. Now, of course, this is not true whatsoever. Trump is saying, I never said anything like this. But he's looking for documentation on this to help his impeachment investigation. He's looking for anything and everything. And guess what? There's nothing. Why? Because when Trump came into this position and he was asked by the military to be the guy in the front, they went through everything. They made sure there was nothing there. Nothing the deep state could get their hands on. And like I said before, the reason why he's keeping back the tax returns is because there is no law. And he's showing them, I don't have to do what you tell me to do. There's no law here. And just because all of you have done it, we're heading in a different direction. And we know eventually, once the tax returns comes out, and maybe he'll just produce them, there's going to be absolutely nothing there. Why? Because they already went through them with a fine-tooth comb. Now, very interestingly, the American Center for Law and Justice filed a Freedom of Information Act request lawsuit against the FBI on Wednesday, seeking documents about two spies former Director James Comey sent into the White House to gather information on Trump. The ACLJ, which is run by Trump's personal attorney, Jay Sekulow, is seeking all of Comey's emails from April 1st, 2016 to May 31st, 2017. Now, the ACLJ filed the Freedom of Information Act lawsuit after Real Clear Investigations reporter Paul Sperry released a report about Comey's covert agent inside of the White House. Now, according to the investigative reporter Paul Sperry, Comey was running a counterintelligence assessment on Trump on the sly. Comey didn't even need to keep files or get surveillance warrants on Trump. He may just have covertly made Trump the subject of an investigation by spying on him incidentally. And here's what the ACLJ is seeking. All records, including emails, memorandum, briefs, electronic messages, etc., pertaining to this spy Ferrante's time within the White House and beyond. Specifically, we are requesting records and emails between or about Comey and Ferrante and others. We are also demanding records related to this spying effort and what we call Comey's circle of corruption. These are Comey's closest advisors, including FBI General Counsel James Baker, Deputy Director, Acting Director Andrew McCabe, Deputy Assistant Director of Counterintelligence Peter Strzok, McCabe's Deputy Counsel Lisa Page, and Comey's Chief of Staff James Rubicki, David Bodwich, Michael Steinbeck, Tricia Anderson, E.W. Bill Priestab, and Jonathan Maffa. Finally, we're requesting all James Comey's emails from April 1st to May 31st, and that's from 2016 to 2017. Now, all those players, remember, they were fired. They were all in on it. And now they want all this information. Jay Sekulow tweeted out the following. After the FBI failed to comply with the ACLJ's Freedom of Information Act request regarding how former FBI Director James Comey reportedly placed spies in the White House, we are filing a lawsuit. The American people deserve the truth. Now, Comey and the rest, they're in trouble. Remember, all the documentation, all the signatures, everything that they have, all the paperwork, those are facts. That's the truth. And you can't fight that. They're going to have a lot of trouble fighting that. Yes, you can fight propaganda, but truth, facts, documentation, videotapes, recordings, guess what? Very difficult to fight against when everything that you're looking at is your signature. It's you on the video. It's you telling these people what to do. What are you going to say? It wasn't me? They're screwed. And as we know, Barr's team is handling the investigation into Hillary Clinton, Uranium One, FISA, you name it. Everything is being done. And guess what? There's been no leaks. This is the deep state's worst fear. Not knowing what's going on. Remember, when the deep state controlled everything, everything was leaked. This is how you know they're not in control. This is their worst fear, knowing nothing. They have nobody in the inside. They have no one leaking anything. They have no idea what's going on. Nothing. This is their worst fear. Now, Judicial Watch, they released the transcript today from their hearing on Thursday, which was August 22nd, 2019, where U.S. District Court Judge Royce C. Lamberth granted significant new discovery to Judicial Watch on the Clinton email issue. During the hearing, Judge Lamberth specifically raised concerns about a Clinton email cache recently discussed in a letter to Senator Charles Grassley and wants Judicial Watch to shake the tree on this issue. Just last week, the Senate Finance and Homeland Security Committees released documents revealing that Clinton IT aide Paul Gambetta copied all but 4 of the missing emails to a Gmail account that does not appear to have ever been reconstructed and searched. The court thinks Judicial Watch ought to shake this tree. Judge Lamberth also criticized the State Department's handling and production of Clinton's emails in this case, stating there is no Freedom of Information Act exemption for political expedience, nor is there one for bureaucratic incompetence. In the beginning of their oral arguments, lawyers for the State Department wrongfully stated that Judicial Watch could no longer continue their discovery And remember, discovery is a beautiful thing because you get to look through everything. The court stopped their argument, saying that Judicial Watch can continue to find more evidence in this case. This is how it went down. State Department. It is, of course, Judicial Watch's burden to explain to Your Honor why there has been good cause to reopen discovery now that discovery has closed in this case. The court, well, I didn't close discovery, so your premise is wrong. State Department. Fair enough, Your Honor. Whether you want to call it closed or not, it is still the court. I didn't close it, I said. I would have a status after they took this initial discovery, and that's what I'm doing today. I didn't close discovery. State Department. That's right, Your Honor, but it is still Judicial Watch's, the court, so they don't need any good cause. State Department. Whether the court. Today, the good cause continues from whether or not state was acting in good faith. And I'll tell you, everything they've discovered in this period raises serious questions about what the hell the State Department's doing here. The court rejected Department of Justice and state efforts to derail further Judicial Watch discovery. Judge Lamberth called their arguments preposterous and cited a prior Judicial Watch Freedom of Information Act case in which he ordered U.S. Marshals to seize records from a Clinton administration official. The judge also stated that the government has mishandled this case and the discovery of information, including former Secretary Clinton's emails, so poorly that Judicial Watch may have the ability to prove that they acted in bad faith, which would be entitle them to attorney fees. Judge Lamberth detailed how the State Department spent 3 months from November 2014 trying to make this case disappear, and that after discovering the State Department's actions and omissions, now we know more, but we have even more questions than answers. So I won't hold it against Judicial Watch for expanding their initial discovery request now. It's falling apart for them. The judge is catching on. Everything's starting to fall apart for Clinton, for Mueller, for all those deep state operatives, Comey, and everyone else. Everything that they tried to do, everyone is starting to wake up. They're starting to realize something is wrong here. And guess what? We're going to see a lot more of this. The deep state's panicking. Everything's not going in their favor. And I'm not talking about the small little cases like Greg Craig. I'm talking about the big investigations, the slam dunks. That's what we're after. These piddly side things, distraction, noise. Keep the focus. We're going for the big kahuna. That's where you want to prove it. That's where you want to show, listen, you have no way out of this. Everything is documented. We have it all. And you can't weasel out of this. Now, very interestingly, federal judge Emmett Sullivan held a sealed ex parte hearing with Michael Flynn's defense counsel Sidney Powell. An ex parte hearing is a judicial review of an emergency request in which the other party may or may not be present. So, what are they trying to do? Well, the judge stated he will first reconcile issues surrounding allegations of Brady violations, unethical concealment of evidence favorable to the defendant, before proceedings to issue around the Department of Justice refusal to grant defense counsel with security clearances. Judge Sullivan will address the allegations of Brady violations first and then proceed to the issue of security clearances if needed. And the hearing is Tuesday, September 10th. I do believe Sidney Powell is going to absolutely free Flynn. Because remember, there's only one reason they're holding this information back. There's only one reason they don't want to produce it, because it would clear Flynn. Technofog tweeted out, today Judge Sullivan held an ex parte hearing with Sidney Powell and General Flynn. The U.S. denial of security clearances. Sullivan will resolve the motion to compel production of Brady material before making a determination on security clearances for Flynn's counsel. Boom. I mean, think about what's going on here. Everything that Mueller and the rest tried to do to hide these things, they thought they were going to have judges in place, that everything was going to go their way, the swamp was going to take care of it. But it's not happening. It is not happening at all. Everything is falling apart for them. And when you try to hide something, it pisses judges off. Now, when we look at the Jeffrey Epstein case, things are starting to heat up now, and there's a lot more people that are associated with Jeffrey Epstein. And we know that there was a mystery man who said, listen, don't release information. You're going to ruin people's reputations. And we can see that Jeffrey Epstein was connected to very high-profile individuals, political, Hollywood, royalty. And the latest is Dubin. And we can see that with everything that's going on, this is just the beginning. Just because Epstein's dead doesn't mean they're not pursuing the co-conspirators. Doesn't mean they're not pursuing all these other individuals. Because if there is evidence, which I do believe there is, and these people were involved in pedophilia, were involved in murder, well, guess what? This is a whole different ball game. And once this information is released, and once they gather the evidence, once they have the recordings, once they have the documentation, a lot of people are going to feel the pain. But like we said before, this is all being done at the same time that the patriots are releasing the documentation on FISA, on email scandal, on Uranium One, and everything else. You need both together to create the perfect storm. And I do believe this is the storm Q has been talking about. Now let's talk about DACA, because Trump, he is out there and he is blasting the DACA order. And he's saying it's completely illegal. And Obama didn't have the right to sign it. So what is the DACA order? Well, this is an executive order granting protections to some immigrants who came to the country as minors, and these minors were allowed into the country, and then their parents were able to follow. Trump tweeted out the following. The Immigration Law Institute's Christopher Hajek says the Supreme Court has to look at whether DACA is lawful. What they are looking at now is whether Trump's rescission of DACA is lawful. Must consider lawfulness of DACA itself. Looks very odd that President Trump doesn't have the discretion to end the program that President Obama began in his discretion. That program was unlawful to begin with. I think it's very unlikely that the SCOTUS is going to issue an order reinstating what it believes is an unlawful program. DACA is unlawful. President Obama never had the legal right to sign DACA, and he indicated so at the time of signing. But in any event, how can he have the right to sign and I don't have the right to unsign? Totally illegal document which would actually give the president new powers. And he's absolutely right. And we'll have to see how that all plays out. Now, Macron, he is trying to push Trump into dropping the sanctions with Iran, and then Iran will have a discussion with Trump. Trump says, absolutely not. We are not dropping the sanctions. You come to me first and we will talk. And this is what Trump did with North Korea. He didn't drop the sanctions. He kept the sanctions in place, and Kim Jong-un spoke to Trump. I think the same exact thing is going to happen right now. What we're seeing right now is the show. I do believe there's already a backroom deal. We already know that Iran said they're going to continually breach its commitments under the 2015 nuclear agreement, and they're going to do a lot more, like they're going to no longer abide by the limits on research and development. They continually do this. They want to see what Europe and the deep state's going to do. And it seems like they're not going to do anything. And Trump is calling their bluff. We know that they were paying. And guess what? The money was coming from the U.S. Trump cut that off. Europe, they don't want to pay. And we can see things are changing now. Think about it. We have the peace deal in Afghanistan, the peace negotiations in Yemen right now with the Houthis. Syria, troops are coming out of Syria. Basically, the deep state no longer can function in there. Iraq, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, everything is ending in these areas. There's a new president in Ukraine, not controlled by the deep state. They want peace with Russia. It's all ending. Remember, timing is very important. Everything that we have seen, everything that we've watched, that we've gone through, had to be done the way it was done. It was part of the plan. And there's still more to do. Remember, timing is everything. And I want to go back to post 2504. It says, has POTUS ever made a statement that hasn't been proven to be correct? Future. No, pretty much everything that he says turns out to be true. It might take a while because the mainstream media gets in there and tries to tell everyone that it's fake, phony, and false. And then later on, they have to backtrack and say, oh yeah, it was true. What do you think they're doing with the hurricane right now? Think timing. Do you really think Trump and the Patriots were able to go after the swamp when Trump first came into office, when all the blocks were in place? What do you think would have happened? Think about it for a second. Think about what had happened before they could even make a move, because the swamp was wide and deep. Nothing would have happened. Trump and the Patriots, they're still battling the mainstream media. But we know the mainstream media's time is coming. Trump and the Patriots, they're battling the big tech companies. I do believe that this is the last stage here, because you need to bring them down a notch. You need to control them. You need people to understand that they are fake. The mainstream media spews fake news. The big tech companies, they censor. Think about the news getting out there of what's really going on with Jeffrey Epstein, with treason, with spying, with crimes against humanity. A lot of this has to be removed. These are blocks. Think Senate lock. The Senate is locked in. Patriots control it. Think Supreme Court. That is locked in. Right now, the Patriots are locked, and who is loaded? Barr, Durham, Huber, Tom Fenton, Jay Sekulow, Trump. They are all locked and loaded, ready to go. This has been building for a very long time. And there's a reason why we moved in this direction. You can see it now when you look back in time. You can see how it wouldn't work. You could see that we had to remove our expectations. We see that there were so many people in the way that it would be completely impossible. That there were so many leakers that it would be completely impossible to have an investigation. Think about what's happening right now. Sessions removed the leakers. Think about that. Think about what the deep state knows right now. Nothing. No one is feeding them information. They believe that nothing's going on, or there's a lot going on they don't know. They're panicking. Just like with the Comey report. Timing is everything. Everything is locked and loaded. And as we should all say to Trump and the rest, fire at will. Because guess what? That time is coming. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.